Hello guys, how are we doing? My name is Tom Harrop. I'm the founder of TJ Tutors, and today we're going to be working on some paragraph writing for GCSE and also for 11 plus as well. So this is going to be something that's going to be really useful for you guys this week. How to use PETAL paragraphs. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be having a little look at the text Treasure Island, just a little excerpt from it. We're going to be trying to focus on how to write some of these PETAL style questions from a classic novel, as well as some of the other techniques and kind of skills that we would normally have to do when we're analysing a new text. So to start us off, we're going to have a little look at this extract here. I'm going to read it out loud, and then the first thing we're going to do, we're going to try and have a go at identifying the 5 W's. Okay, so the wind howled through the rigging as the Hispaniola rocked against the restless waves. Jim Hawkins clutched the rail, his heart pounding like a drum against his ribs. The moon, pale and watchful, cast a silver glow over the deck, illuminating the towering figure of Long John Silver. His wooden crutch thudded against the planks as he advanced, his one good eye gleaming with an unreadable expression. Well now, lad, Silver drawled, his voice as smooth as rolling tides. It seems fate has tossed us together once more. Jim swallowed hard, aware of the heavy silence that had fallen upon the ship. The sea whispered secrets only the bold dared to understand. He knew he had to tread carefully. One wrong word, and he might find himself at the mercy of the treacherous crew. A distant flash of lightning illuminated the horizon, revealing the shadow of land. Treasure Island. Okay, so your first thing to do now, just spend a couple of minutes. I just want you to identify the 5 W's. Okay, so that's your who is involved, what's happening, where is everything taking place, why are the events taking place. Let's see what you guys can get. Okay, right. So I've got here a short summary using the 5 W's. Okay, so who is obviously Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver. What is a tense encounter between them aboard the Hispaniola. Where, obviously on the Hispaniola, sailing towards Treasure Island. It's at night, it's under the moonlight, there's a storm approaching, that's for when. And then why, which is sometimes a little bit tricky, but it's the idea that Jim is uncertain about why obviously Silver's there, basically. So his intentions and the looming presence of Treasure Island adds to that tension. So what I want you to try and do, guys, just for a couple of minutes, just getting into a habit now of practicing to summarising, because this is a skill that we use for 11 plus for summarising text. It's also a skill that we practice for GCSE, where you've got to kind of summarise the differences. So using some of that information, just let's say 3 minutes or so, try and get me a paragraph where you are summarising what you've just read there. Okay, let's see what you can get. Okay, right. So the next thing we're going to look at is what we learn about Jim Hawkins and Long John Silver. Okay, so I just want you to spend just a few minutes now, try and make some notes on their description, their character, their personality, their appearance. Read through that text, see what you can find in terms of what it shows about their character, or something that reflects their personality. Okay, again, I'll give you just a few minutes to try and have a go at that for me. Okay, so here's some ideas just to get you thinking. Obviously, Jim is young, nervous, his heart pounding like a drum. That tells us he's scared, but he's also alert. He knows he's got to be careful when he's speaking to Silver. Long John Silver, well, he's clever. He's a little bit scary. His voice is smooth, which means he sounds calm and friendly, but his one good eye gleaming makes him seem like he's planning something. Okay, the wooden crutch makes a very loud noise as well, so that shows his presence is very strong, even though he's only got one leg. So, just some things to get you thinking there about character. Now, I just want you to spend 5 minutes now just going through this text. And again, this is just practicing this skill of annotation. Now, obviously, you don't have this text in front of you, but what you will need to start doing now is just making some notes on some of the choices of language so that when we do eventually have a high-level question to work on, which I'm going to show you in a moment, you're going to have some things to obviously comment on and talk about, which is basically going to save you time. Okay, so I'm going to show you the question in a moment, but I just want you to try and just start of all, just for a few minutes, just try and get some of these techniques. Make a note on the technique itself. So if it's an example of personification or alliteration, and then think about why has the writer obviously included these. Okay, think about the writer's intentions. What does it suggest? Okay, so just a few minutes now having a go at that on your pages. Okay, so hopefully you've got some good ideas there. Now, this is what we're going to be working on as a PETAL answer. Okay, so how does Stevenson create tension in this extract? Okay, so this is very similar to some of these kind of 6-mark questions for 11 plus. You've got an 8-mark question for your AQA English language, paper 1, question 2 for GCSE. That's very similar to this as well. So this is going to be something that you want to be trying to kind of practice and develop. Now, excuse me. So the structure for PETAL is as follows. Okay, so you have a point, right? So you think about obviously making a simple statement about what the writer does, what they are suggesting, what they're showing, and here at the top with the point, you've got some suggestions about what excuse me, what can be, how you can kind of structure these beginning sentences. The next thing I want you to think about is obviously evidence. So giving some evidence from the text to support your point. So for example, for instance, in the 3rd paragraph, the writer states, the next thing you're going to do after that is you're then going to, once you've given that evidence, you're going to talk about one of the techniques being used there, okay? A specific quotation or an adjective, a word in particular, a noun, a verb. And then, as we can see in the green here for the analysis, break it down, analyze the language or the structure being used or the effect of it. Pick a key word and then discuss its connotations, okay? So the verb something suggests something. So think about the deeper meaning. How can we understand what the writer's intentions here are? What does it create an image of in the reader's mind? How can you link it back to something else or to the question or something further on in the text? And that's that last part there, the link. So you're giving another quotation to further support your point or going back to the question. So the link can go kind of further on, or you can link back to your initial point and the question being made. But what we're going to try and have a go at doing now is the following, okay? I'm going to show you how to kind of structure this, and then I want to try and see if you can try and have a go at doing this on your own. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at this, okay? So this is basically me kind of showing you how to kind of put this together. I want you to try and see if you can try and work on this on your own in a moment, okay? So Stevenson's obviously building tension by showing Jim's fear through the description. And then we've got the technique, which is a simile being used here. Jim Hawkins clutched the rail, his heart pounding like a drum. Okay, hello. So this is a simile. It's obviously comparing his heartbeat to a drum. It makes it sound fast and loud. So this is where we're going to be analyzing how this kind of reflects that sense of tension. Then you want to try and link that to something. So this builds suspense because it makes the reader wonder what's going to happen next or whether Jim is in danger. Okay, so I'm going to just give you a chance now to have a go at doing this on your own. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then I'm going to show you how that model answer would be constructed. And then we're going to think about where the PETAL is in that example there. Okay, so you've got 5 minutes now, guys, just to see if you can try and have a go at this for me. Okay, right, let's have a little look at our model response here. Okay, so this is something I'd be looking for here, okay? So Stevenson builds tension by showing Jim's fear through vivid description. That's our point. The writer states, Jim Hawkins clutched the rail, his heart pounding like a drum. That's the evidence. This simile, that's the technique mentioned, compares Jim's heartbeat to a drum, making it sound fast and loud. That's where our analysis is. And that continues here. It shows that Jim is very nervous, as if he's getting ready for something scary or important. Then we're linking that to something else. This builds suspense because it makes the reader wonder what is going to happen next or whether Jim is in danger. Okay, so this is what that would look like if I was to kind of color code it for you here. That is our model answer, okay? Now, what I'm going to get you guys to try and have a go at, you've obviously got this to have a little look through. I want you to try and have a go at working on another question here, okay? So, how is Long John Silver presented in this extract, okay? So, this time, I want you to try and do it on your own, okay? So I'm going to let you just try and have a go at working on this for 5 minutes. Then I'm going to show you some of the aspects that you can include, and then you're going to work on developing that as part of a continued task, okay? So 5 minutes, try and have a go at working on this question now. Okay, right. So some things we can mention here. Long John Silver's presented as both friendly and dangerous. We've obviously got the idea that he is, he's got one eye kind of gleaming with an unreadable expression. We've got imagery being used here. The phrase one eye gleaming is suggesting that he's kind of watching very carefully, he might be hiding something. Unreadable expression, so we're zooming in on one quotation here. That means the Jim can't tell what Silver's thinking, which makes him kind of mysterious and even less kind of trustworthy there, okay? So it's again, that's creating uncertainty. It's building suspense, okay? And that's making us unsure about the character of Silver, which makes it interesting for the reader, okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to try and model that answer, develop that and improve that. I'll give you this just to kind of help you with how you can structure that yourself. Hang on, this one here. I'll give you just a few minutes to try and just rejig it, just improve it and just develop that, okay? Okay, cool. So that's a little crash course today in PETAL. Hope that's been useful. Now, obviously Easter holidays is coming up and we've got some things going on this year. So we've got various workshops going on over the Easter holidays from Monday, 7th of April, 2025, all the way to Thursday, 17th of April, 2025. The sessions are 9 till 11 a.m. each day. You've got homework with every class. You've got the session is going to be recorded and you'll have lots of extra resources as well there. Okay, so you've got the option to join one class for £25 or you can join 4 classes for £80. So there's lots of different things going on there over the holidays. You can feel free to reach out to me by the details below in the corner but we've got story writing on the Monday, descriptive writing on the Tuesday, continuing the story Wednesday, how to do a diary on the Thursday, letters Monday the week after, balanced arguments, article writing the Tuesday, speech writing on the Wednesday the 16th, and then finally writing from a title. Okay, so there's loads of good things you can get on with and get involved with. So if that's of interest to you guys, you can certainly join along there. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. I hope that's been useful for you today. I've been Tom Harrop, founder of TJ Tutors, and I shall see you in